Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tipped. Julian here for another Drops episode, this one for week 6. Before I jump into which players you should consider dropping from your team, drop a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you do want to take your support to the next level, hit that join button on YouTube or head down in the description of this video and there's a link to my Patreon. Consider joining that. And if you do join that, you get some perks like being able to DM me with any fantasy hockey questions that you have, and I try to answer basically right away most of the time. And also you get early access to the videos I post. So there's definitely some perks there. So go ahead and check that out. Let's jump into the content now, guys, and let's take a look at some forwards that you should consider dropping from your team. And first on the list is Anton Lundell of the Florida Panthers. He's 50% rostered. And obviously, he was really great while Barkov was out with an injury. He got to take a spot on Barkov's line and was absolutely killing it. Barkov is back, and Barkov is killing it now. And Lundell is playing on the third line with Boquist and Lusterine. It's not exactly an amazing place to be playing. And even though he's still been doing decently, he's someone you definitely can look to drop if you're trying to add someone to help you win a week or anything like that. Lundell is basically super droppable at this point. The points aren't going to come as frequently anymore. Cole Perfetti is the next guy on this list, and he's playing on the second line with Nemesnikov. He has been there all year long, and it's not bad deployment, but the points have started to dry up, and Winnipeg's schedules are not as good as they were early in the season, so he's definitely droppable as well. Mason Marchment is the next guy that is droppable if you need to. He is also someone you can hang on to if you need to. It's really based on your league size. I don't hate Mason Marchment, and his deployment isn't that bad with Matt Duchene and Tyler Seguin on the second or third line, whatever you want to call that. It's not terrible, but it's not amazing either. He's not getting PP one time or anything like that. So if there's somebody out there that catches your attention and might be a little bit more valuable to you than Mason Marchment, absolutely go for it. It's not like Mason Marchment's going to make or break your team. Teuvo Teravainen is another drop on Chicago, and I know they've been shuffling their lineups a lot, but he's not really on the top line anymore, and he hasn't produced since like the first couple games of the season. He's been really disappointing, and I bet he's probably going to get going at some point, but as of right now, he's a waste of space on your fantasy hockey team. Then Eric Haula of the New Jersey Devils. The Devils have had some great schedules on a few weeks, so a lot of them have been added. But Eric Haula is a third liner, and he hasn't been that amazing as of late, so he's an easy drop as well if there's someone out there that you like a little bit better. Jumping into defensemen, the first one on the list is Mattias Ekholm, and no, he's not a drop at all in all leagues. I just don't think he needs to be owned in 87% of leagues. Somewhere closer to 50-60% would make more sense to me. If you're in a shallow league, there's definitely better defensemen out there than Mattias Ekholm. Maybe grab one that's a top power play defenseman who has more upside to put up points. Ekholm has a decent floor. His peripherals are okay, nothing too special. And yeah, the points come every 2-3 games, but there's definitely better out there if you are in a shallow league. Again, if you're in a standard or deeper league, you're holding on to Mattias Ekholm, obviously. But if you are one of those people in a super shallow, maybe 8-man or less league, you don't need to be owning Mattias Ekholm. Neil Pionk was great to start the year. His peripherals were amazing, was putting up points. Now that was unsustainable, guys. His peripherals should still be decent. The dude tends to hit quite a bit, but he definitely does not need to be owned in 84% of leagues. That's quite a bit, and he has been slowing down. So if you are in a shallow league, once again, you can drop him. But again, if you're in a deeper league, you're holding on to Neil Pionk. Philip Hronek, another guy I was not a fan of at all this year. His floor has been okay, so again, if you're in a super deep league, you can hang on to him. He's not someone I'm overly high on, though, for the year. Travis Sanheim of the Philadelphia Flyers is someone who is hold on-to-able, but he's not someone I'm super crazy about. He goes on little streaks where he'll score a few points in a row, and then he'll go a bunch of games without doing anything. His peripherals are okay, but nothing too crazy, so he's not someone I'm overly high on. And finally, Oliver Ekman-Larsson is a drop in all leagues. He is completely useless. He was only valuable because he was playing on Toronto's top power play. He's not anymore, and he's well past his prime at this point in his career. He definitely doesn't need to be owned in 40% of leagues, and honestly, I'd drop him in basically every league at this point. No goalies this week, but if you do want to check out which goalies I suggested drafting last week, you can definitely check out that video on my channel. That's it for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching all the way through, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.